Hello everybody, welcome back to another update on the Bleach 5e book. As you can see here now, we reached another big milestone, over 17,000 views on the book. Thank you to everybody for contributing to the book with your comments, views on the videos, on the book, sending me your suggestions, and letting me know what your characters are, your builds. I want to thank everybody so much for any kind of participation that you've had, as well as the patrons and everybody. Thank you all so much. And let's go over the new updates to the book. So for the first one we have here is I fixed supercharged ability wording for the lightning armament ability. So for supercharged, as you can see, it now reads, while released, when you are subject to an ability or spell that deals 15 points or more of lightning damage, as a reaction, you are unaffected by that ability or spell, and you enter Bankai and activate this ability at the same time. While this ability is active, you gain the following benefits. Before, it wasn't very clear on the actions and how it happened, when it happened. Did you have to be in Bankai first to do it? The idea of it was this was a good way to cheat yourself going into Bankai. So I needed to make it clear that when you activated it, you didn't need to be in Bankai, and when you activate this, it puts you into Bankai. So hopefully that's a little bit more clear, and people understand what I'm trying to do with this, and it functions as how I think it should function. So with that said, let me know what you think. If there's any other issues that might come up with this ability or any other abilities, point them out to me, let me know. But that's how that should work now. So for the next one, we have a nerf to Tempered Steel. So Tempered Steel before, it would say if any effect would destroy your weapon, it would just fully negate it. As you can see here, if an effect would damage, break, or destroy your armament without a save, you are allowed a saving throw. I had to add in except for Final Shikai or similar effect, so you couldn't just go around using Final Shikai willy-nilly with no repercussions, as the point of Final Shikai is to, be a big ability that you can use, very infrequently, which is why most of them are very powerful. So I didn't want someone to pick this up and then just start kind of spamming their Final Shikai, so that was the intention of the nerf, unfortunately. So the next change is to Bankai. It was reworded, so it's a little bit more clear on certain abilities and when you get Bankai abilities and how it kind of stacks up with when you get normal Shikai abilities. So that got changed a little bit. So let's go over how it's worded now. Most of the beginning stuff here hasn't been changed, but the benefits that you get have been a little bit adjusted. So your maximum current hit points are doubled. You gain an additional armament type and 2 armament abilities of your choice in the selected armament type. You gain 2 additional armament abilities, but only have access to these abilities while in Bankai. You gain 1 Bankai ability. Once your Bankai ends, you gain a level of exhaustion. At 15th level and again at 20th level, you gain a Bankai ability and 2 armament abilities. These additional armament abilities are only available during Bankai. So before, wording soup was all changed around with like Bankai abilities, non-Bankai abilities. So if something is not a Bankai abilities or Bankai abilities, and before there was like a kind of a differentiation that I made, which I think made the wording a little bit more difficult to understand. So now if a ability is a Bankai ability, that's it. If something says you get in just an armament ability, that's not a Bankai ability. They're separate, distinct things, which at the top of the chapter where it talks about the abilities and Bankai abilities, it will specify that more as well. So there's no need to distinguish between them. So right here where it says, you gain 2 additional armament types, with those 2 armament types, you can't pick up a Bankai ability because they're kind of separate, kind of different. So hopefully that's a little bit more clear, especially additionally when you would get more Bankai abilities as well. That's more clear, and everything kind of is a little bit simpler and easier to understand and view and read and create your Bankai. If not, let me know if that's still not clear enough. If anyone has any other better suggestions on wording, feel free to put it in the comments and let me know. Okay, next one is a handful of buffs to the Quincy class and some Quincy, well, one Quincy feats. So buff the Quincy class, each subclass now gains an additional saving throw proficiency. Right now the Shinigami, if you picked up any of the subclasses, you would have a total of 3, and the Quincy didn't have 3, they just have 2. So this is just to give them a little buff, because I think they are still fairly weak. So I think more changes might need to be made to them, but we'll see. I'm slowly buffing them to see how they change, and keep an eye on their power creep, and looking at the Shinigami actually to potentially nerf, as I've already done some one-shots with the patrons, and the damage that they can output can be a little insane sometimes. So after a couple more one-shots, I'll see how much of a problem they really are and adjust numbers where needed. But at the moment, Quincy's aren't keeping up pace with the Shinigami, so they're going to get some buffs. So that's the first one they're getting. Next one is Blut Reines, one of the feats that they get. The timing on it was not correct. I wanted it to change until your next turn, as the previous one was until the end of the next turn, I think. So this one kind of goes all the way around to you instead of just whenever the next turn is. And then there was a SP cost. It was at 3 for the conversion rate. Now I brought it down all the way to 1, which we'll go over there in just a moment. Okay, so for Blut Reines, as you can see here, instead of the normal Blut vein, when you make an attack, before any rolls are made, as a reaction, you may expend 1 SP point up to 5 times. That's a little typo, actually. Let me change that real quick right now. Before, it used to be 3 up to 5 times, or different number, but that was too expensive. The SP points that Quincy get is a little less than what Shinigamis get, so the conversion rate just wasn't favorable at all. So this is potentially not a huge buff, but a pretty good buff, I think. So hopefully with that, it's a little easier for them to get their abilities, and kind of emphasizes their proficiency with Blut, and shows that they are more powerful with this feat. So if any of the other changes or buffs need to be made to this feat, keep an eye on it, make them as needed. But you guys let me know, take a look at it, and see if this feels a little bit better, or if any Quincy's are being played right now and have this feat, how much different this changes and makes it feel. I would love to hear that feedback as well. So let me know about that as well. Okay, next update here is going to slightly be a little out of order. We're going to go to the new summon abilities that were added: Share Sense and Share Spells. All right, so let's take a look at them. So with Share Senses right here, it's requires summon, obviously, and 6 other summon abilities. While your summon is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. Additionally, as an action, you can see through your summon's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn, getting the benefits of any special senses that the summon has. During this time, you are deaf and blind with regard to your own senses. Very similar to the other the ability that Find Familiar does. So basically the same thing as that. The next one here is Share Spells. It's going to require summon and 10 other summon abilities. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your summon with the spell if your summon is within 30 feet of you, similar to the Share Spells with in regular D&D. I just wanted to get those 2, as I had some requests for these 2 abilities to be added to them, and I don't think they were that crazy to not be added to it. So they get those 2 to play with. Hopefully that's something that plays right. Share Spells, a little concerned about it, as you get that way sooner than you normally would in normal D&D. So that's the only one I'm a little worried about. But any other DMs, let me know if anyone has summons and they pick this up, and if it's a problem. I know I have someone that's played summon, so I'm going to see if this becomes an issue later on. But I'll keep you guys posted on that as well, and make any changes that need to be made for it. So that's it for summons this time around. And they also kind of got a reorganization of the chapter as well, just so you're aware of that as well. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now I know what you see, but we're not going to get there yet. We're going to go over to the sneak peek now at the NPC stat blocks. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm kind of blocking it with my camera. So let me see if I can. Okay, let's take a look at this stat block. So this here, I'm using just a single column. I'm planning on probably using the double column in the future, but this is just kind of an example to show to you guys to maybe use and see kind of just how a stat block from a Bleach NPC and other NPCs would probably look like. So here we got the name here, the normal stats, AC, hit points, speeds, stuff, saving throws, all that stuff. These here from like class features and feats, and then a specific section for there's Zanpakuto to tell you what the name is, the release command, the type, and the abilities. So normally as an action, well, before I go further, that's something where I am a little not unsure of on what to do. So hopefully this is something you guys can let me know and see what would look better, or basically what would look better. So for armament abilities here, it'll show you all the abilities of it. Do I put them again under actions, like action Blade of Blood, and type out what it does, or does having the armament abilities all listed out here, is that enough for to know what they do and not have to like double up on here, or don't put armament abilities here at all and just put them under actions and just like brackets notate that they are armament abilities, or mix of both. Let me know. See if because I haven't decided on which one would look better for the stat blocks, so maybe that's something you guys can let me know and help me out on for that. But other than that, that's one of these NPCs that I've created and that I use in my campaigns, and I just made a stat block for her here, so you guys can go through, take a look, let me know what you think, and hopefully in the future with all these stat blocks, I have some pictures to accompany them, so you can see what these NPCs look like. But that's the current stat block right now. Same here with all their keto as well. So let me know what you guys think about it, and yeah. And let's move on to the final updates, and I'm sure you guys have all been looking at, and I've gotten a lot of comments about, so let's move on over to it. Okay, so new armament type has been added, Gravity. I posted in the last update letting people know about it. It was available to the patrons first, so they can get a look at it, get a feel of it, a lot of discussion about it, lots of opinions about it. So let's go through these. I'm not going to go through them like one at a time, each individual full breakdown. I could do like maybe a video in the future of a full breakdown, but let's go over some of the ones that I'm excited for, the abilities, and that I think are pretty neat. So the first one here is Gravity Blade. Pretty similar to a lot of other ones. Concentration, Seal Sealed, Verbal Somatic and Weapon, Self, 1 action, 2 SP. Your weapon pulses with gravitational forces. When you deal damage with your weapon, the target is pushed 5 feet away from you in a direction they choose. So normally that would abilities that deal damage. Gravity is more about manipulation of the person and the space around them, and to kind of manipulate them and move them around. So I think that's a pretty unique ability to have, and that's kind of something a theme with all of them. This I should have also mentioned at the beginning. This Gravity armament was actually created by one of my friends, Drew. He's helped me balance out the book throughout its entire lifetime so far, so big shout out to him. And he's kind of brought this idea to me early on in the book, but at the time I thought about this, but I couldn't think of anything to make it very unique enough from other abilities like wind or water with like manipulation of like pushing people. So I didn't think it could be its own type at the time, but I told them, hey, feel free to prove me wrong. You can work on it, bring it to my attention later on when you're done with it, and then hopefully it's really unique and cool. And I'm glad that he did prove me wrong, because I think it's really cool and very unique. So go through this, let me know what you think, because I love it, and I can't wait to bust this out on the patrons and kind of, wreak havoc on them with this type. So if any patrons watching this, be ready. But continue on with it. I like, let's see, what's another good one? Gravitas is pretty cool. 2 gravity abilities, SP3, 1 action. You violently manipulate gravity to forcefully move a creature you can see within range. Target must make a strength saving throw. On failed save, you may push or pull the target up to 50 feet in any single direction. If you move the target into a solid surface, the target takes 1d8 bludgeoning for every 5 feet they move this way. I need to change to, should be moved this way. Not move this way. If they moved this way. There you go. Fixing some real-time fixes here. Takes a long time to update because the book's getting pretty big. So that one's pretty cool. Next one here is Entropy's pretty cool. You create a destabilized field of gravity around a target you can see within range. Make a ranged attack against the target. On hit, the target takes 1d6 force damage, and for the duration at the beginning of each of the target's turns, it is shunted 20 feet in a random direction between forward, backward, left, or right. The target can resist the force movement in increments of 5 feet, but for every 5 feet it doesn't move, it takes 1d6 force damage. So this is pretty cool. Super random variable ability that I think will be kind of fun. Those are the 2 ones that I'm like very like, ooh, these are pretty neat. Another one though that I'm pretty excited for adding that I think was really crazy is Singularity, the final Shikai for gravity. So 5 gravity abilities, SP costs 5, 1 action, 100 feet, visual, somatic, and weapon, concentration up to 1 minute. You create a 2-foot diameter black sphere on a point that you can see within range. It hovers in that space. The sphere obliterates all matter and passes through it. Artifacts are the exception. Anything that touches the sphere but isn't wholly engulfed and obliterated by it takes 10d6 force damage. On initiative 30, each creature within 60 feet of the sphere must make a strength saving throw. On a failure, they are pulled 35 feet towards its center. If the sphere comes into contact with a planar portal, such as that created by the gate spell, or an extra dimensional space, such as that within a portable hole, the GM determines what catastrophic event happens. You may reselect this ability multiple times, each time choosing one of the following options. Increase the amount of singularities you create by 1 to a max of 3. The sphere deals 10d8 damage instead. So for those that are veterans of D&D, they are going to recognize this as a sphere of total destruction and similar things like that. That's basically what it is, with some 5e updates to it and a little bit of changes just for this ability here. I think it's one of the coolest final Shikais, very powerful, very dangerous because, like, as you've noticed, a lot of the gravity abilities affect everybody, which includes the user. So it's very volatile, very powerful, especially an ability like this. So it can get pretty crazy. So hopefully that's something you guys can go through and check out and enjoy, and let me know what you guys think about it. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully you do too. Feel free to comment below what you think about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's it for the updates. So with that, I want to get some updates into the YouTube here. Okay, big jump there. Kind of got a different change of clothes. Had someone at the door. Anyways, continuing on with what I was saying. Come on over to the YouTube channel and come give me a subscribe. I'm going to try to be updating the book, or at least putting out update videos for the book a lot more consistently. As you can see, they're about 2 months, a month apart. This one here, the latest one was only 3 weeks ago. So I want to put out updates for the book every 2 weeks. I would like to do some more content, so feel free to, comment down below what kind of other content regarding the Bleach you'd like to see that I could do. I could do some build videos for a certain type of armaments. Maybe, how could you create a character from the show using the book, something like that. So comment down below, let me know if there's anything like that you want to see. Maybe some more, maybe Dungeon Master help for Bleach. Things like that, whatever you guys want to see, come on over, give the channel a subscribe. I'll be trying to post a video every 2 weeks. So starting now with this video, in 2 weeks, I will try to post another video with some more updates. So be a little bit more frequent. So come check this out as well. You can go on Twitter. I'll be posting updates on there too if you want to keep up to date. Try to use that a little bit more frequently. I got a full-time job, day job. So I'm not working on the book as much as I'd like to. I'm only doing it like once a week, one or 2 days of the week I'm actually working on the book. So yeah, I would like to do updates and more stuff, you know, every day, every other day, but just can't do it. I'm only one person working on this book. And then I gotta record these videos, edit them myself, and put them out. I would love to get an editor, but my channel isn't monetized yet, so I've got no way to pay an editor for that. So hopefully in the future, once I can maybe monetize the channel, if I get enough people, I can start to get some editors and pump out some more content. But in the meantime, this is as much as I could put out right now. If you would like to further support the book and myself, other than subscribing to the YouTube channel, liking the video, sharing it, you can head on over to the Patreon over here. I got a good amount of tiers here with some pretty good bonuses, in my opinion, and you know, different price points with whichever budget you are working with. A lot of good tiers, as you can see. There's a lot of people subscribing to the Captain tier, more than I thought, honestly. So it's great. We're having a good time with the one-shots and a bunch of other sessions that we do. So if you want to be part of those, subscribe to the Captain tier. If you can't, head on over to the other tiers as well, whichever one seems to fit your budget, and help out. Even the $1 tier is just, that's more than enough. So if you are interested, go on over to the Patreon, check that out. And with that, I'm going to finish out with some Patreon shoutouts. All right, with the current active patrons, we got the Ben Who Wants to Lick Luis's Feet, Johnny Perez, Speed Zombie. Thank you, Ben, for changing that back. Tea Time. We got Gamble. We got Upsig Stauber, Anthony Floyd, and Gungnir. Thank you guys so much for being patrons and helping out. Like I said, if you guys want to help out as well and get some shoutouts and some other perks, feel free to subscribe to the Patreon. Other than that, I hope to see you guys in 2 weeks with another update to the book. Any other mild updates, I'll probably post them on Twitter and maybe on the community tab on YouTube. I don't really use that. So keep an eye out on all those socials as well. I will link everything down below. You can also add me on Twitter or on Discord if you have any questions. Don't need to be a patron or subscribe to ask me any questions you might have about the book for any kind of clarifications. Feel free to reach out. I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Well, with that said, thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you soon.